Hello, everybody. Welcome back to your daily crypto news. Hope that you're all doing well and that you're all having a fantastic day. As always, leaving a like, leaving a comment, or subscribing. All of these things do help out with the channel. Very big thank you to everyone who leaves multiple comments every single day. I do see you. I cannot respond back to all of you, but a very, very big thank you. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. So, it begins again. It says Bitcoin and Ethereum consolidate gains, SNX and ApeCoin rally. ApeCoin is kind of one of the most popular price news stories of the day. The price, I believe, has risen by, I think it was 15 to 20% over the last 24 hours. I believe it has a lot to do with the multiple rumors surrounding that coin. The TV show, the multiple movies by Coinbase, there were rumors of airdrops. There's always kind of something. I don't know if you guys heard when this coin originally dropped. I believe it was just for people who held the actual Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs. There we go. I was like, what are they called? A friend of mine told me that a friend of his got airdropped around like $600,000 worth of those coins and like did not know what to do with himself because he just got into crypto relatively recently. Decided to buy some NFTs last year. I don't know why I'm telling you all this, but I thought the story was very fascinating. And then one day he opened up his MetaMask, I believe, and he saw there was $600,000 sitting there. Anyway, so this is why part of the reason why I assume ApeCoin is rallying. We are at that point once again where I am still incredibly skeptical because we've seen before, as prices rise, here we go, they usually tend to fall. We've heard before that we are in some type of really weird trading range. However, a lot of people, you will see in all the tabs, believe that we are, and I mean there, we are just about to see some type of crazy parabolic movement because all the pieces have kind of come together for Bitcoin's price, and therefore you get it. It says Bitcoin price analysis, Bitcoin eyes fresh increase to $43,000. I believe that Bitcoin is up by a couple of percent since the last time that we spoke. It says calm before the storm. Bitcoin volatility reaches pre-bull breakout levels. The idea being that we have moved around so much in a short period of time. We have consolidated. We have continuously retested previous lows or highs, depending on how you want to look at these bounces. And therefore, we have gotten to the point where it is estimated that we do not need to move down any further because those other $40,000 seems to be support. And that is kind of the launching off point for Bitcoin. This one says, 3 facts, okay, point out Bitcoin to surge extremely in a week. How to seize the chance to profit, I would assume not financial advice. If Bitcoin's going to surge and you want to profit from it, you would probably simply buy said asset. That's usually how you profit from a lot of other things happening in the world. This one says now or never. Bitcoin builds base at decade-long parabolic curve. There are a whole bunch of charts here. There's like 9 of them. I don't have to show them to you. The idea that they have is over the course of the last 12 years, they have a chart that shows Bitcoin's movements. And basically the idea is we have gotten to the point where we are once again like on that line and ready to bounce off. However, historically, on that parabolic line that has been building for 12 years, once we bounce off of that point, it's usually, and I can't stand this term, but it's to the moon, if you will. All lines have been crossed. Everything has been approved. I don't know what I'm talking about, but you get what I'm saying. I love that these people are just like clapping. I love this woman in particular. I don't know if you can see her because the screen might be cut off, but she's looking at nothing, clapping at the sky. Anyway, yeah. So the idea is, once again, I'm still 9,000,000% skeptical simply because I need Bitcoin to just do it. I don't want to hear people talking about where Bitcoin might go or where Bitcoin could potentially be. We know that it's been there before. It's already been at $70,000. It's not like this would be our first time reaching that high. It's just more of a, if you're going to do it this time, nobody talk about it and let's just get there. Like, let's talk about Bitcoin's price when we're at 71,000 and everyone's like, okay, now this is uncharted territory. Also in the news, it says technical analysis. Ethereum consolidates gains. Indicators suggest more upside. You guessed it. The Ethereum news is also quite optimistical as well. It says Ethereum bulls aim to break above the $3,100 price region. I'm not sure of the actual or general sentiment of Ethereum at the moment, simply because we have gotten news and indications that the update that we were told last December would happen in June is no longer happening in June, and I think that may have taken a lot of wind out of the sails of Ethereum in general, because, you know, people want stuff when they hear that they're going to get it. It says Solana nears $110 with a 6% price surge in the last 24 hours. A lot of altcoins have moved up quite exponentially over the last 24 hours, not just, I think Shiba Inu may have also gone up, Solana, Binance Coin, ApeCoin, Fifth Coin, they all are going up very high. I think it's because, and I've seen this before in other market, not trends, cycles, is that the rest of the market is ready to move. That's abundantly clear. Whether it be from the side of analysts who are predicting where all these things are going to go, or the side of people who are trading these coins or holding these coins or accumulating these coins, everyone is under the general sentiment that the market should be a lot higher than it currently is. So whenever we see a minimal movement in Bitcoin, the altcoins are also pushing up quite heavily because the price buying support is also there. But this is also why we see these also heavily dramatic drops at the exact same time. Here's a prediction. If Bitcoin does finally move, if we get any indication that Bitcoin is going to try and aim for or move above $50,000, get ready for a very happy summer, because the altcoins are going to begin to push extremely hard. Think about all the news that we've been getting about all these altcoins for the last couple of months, whether it be the upgrades, the updates, the new projects they've been buying, accumulating, merging with. The market is definitely ready, but just has to kind of do it. And this one says Binance is primed for a 20% surge. Binance price to rally above $500 by the end of April. As you can see, these are only a few tabs. There were many, but it's still a few. The general sentiment is near euphoric at this point that we are going to be moving up in price. I have learned and have taught myself just to keep my expectations extremely low. At some point, Bitcoin will move up in price. We have heard from nearly every analyst under the sun as to what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and how it could potentially happen. And we still have all the same exact time frames. Nothing has really changed, except for the only thing that's really changed price-wise was that Bitcoin was near 30,000 something. We had news that Bitcoin had to go above 38,000. It went above 38,000. We had to go above 40,000. We went above 40,000. And the news was now we had to go above 41,000 as one of the main catalysts for Bitcoin's price to really take off. But yeah, the other coins are moving on minimal Bitcoin movements. They will probably continue to do so until Bitcoin actually moves, and then the entire market can surge. I wish, and I mean so many times, and I mean this in the most honest way, I really wish, like, I knew what's going on. Like, why the delay? Why the slowness in movements? Why, if whales are buying, does the price not increase? Why, if XYZ is taking place, and we know that these things are taking place, why haven't, and also even weirder, I'm going to show you. So Bitcoin currently right now, I believe, is only up by around 1%, 1.4% or something nonsensical like that. And I'm going to show you the news story that I believe in a couple as to exactly why I think Bitcoin moved up And when you hear the story, you might smack your forehead and go, well, Bitcoin should be up by around 15 to 25%. And I'm going to say, I know. And then you're going to get a little annoyed. And I'm going to also get annoyed because it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Is this also price news? Yeah, I guess kind of. It says mysterious. This isn't the news, by the way. It says mysterious Bitcoin whale accumulates over $117 million in Bitcoin in just 1 week. That's one wallet, one whale in 1 week. The third biggest Bitcoin whale in the world has entered accumulation mode with huge purchases of Bitcoin over the last week, as the leading crypto market by market cap hovers around the $40,000 mark. The whale is ranked number 3, but is the largest non-exchange entity and has accumulated 2,822 Bitcoin in the past 7 days, not even 7 weeks. We typically hear, I think, is the third and fourth largest wallets that we tend to hear about the most often. There's also even maybe here, probably, news about Bitcoin being taken off of exchanges. It's the same news every single day. I don't know why supply and demand does not work in the crypto market, as oddly as that sounds, because we know that the demand is there. Once again, never forget this point. I'm going to assume out of everyone listening right now, hello, I'm going to roughly say 25 to 30% are probably still actively accumulating. A large portion of the market, as we've gone over before, for some reason, only tends to accumulate when prices are going higher. Why this happens, I do not know. However, a portion of you are still accumulating right now. I don't have the most viewed cryptocurrency channel in the space. There are many other cryptocurrency channels who stole my channel idea and are doing exactly what I'm doing, and people are also watching their channels. So think of how many people who are watching all of these channels collectively one day are buying Bitcoin and crypto. Imagine other people who aren't in the market, who aren't watching videos on YouTube, who are also still accumulating. Imagine all the other rich people. Why does supply and demand not work on this market as it is in every other market? So very big news of the day as well was that the largest third whale Bitcoin wallet continues to accumulate. We hear about this guy or woman all the time. It's always the same general kind of news. They bought $69 million worth of Bitcoin. They bought $255 million worth of Bitcoin. It's a rather large wallet. And all they're doing is accumulating and have just been accumulating for a number of years. Yeah, I think that's basically all the price news. Once again, very euphoric, very happy, optimistic kind of energy rolling through the space. We all know that we should be a lot higher, but I implore you not to hold your breath at all if you are so able to do so until Bitcoin passes by around $50,000. We should be a lot higher across the entirety of the market, but until we get to that point, sure, why not? That's all the price news. Yeah. Let's move on. This is the only website I found talking about this, and this website is also formatted terribly. I tried using the little the little magnifying glass thing that every web browser has to kind of zoom in or zoom out of a page, but all that happens is on this page is the text becomes smaller and the page doesn't actually reformat more into the center, so can't really do too much. It says Ethereum developer Lion Daplian, confirmed in his tweet that the second merge testnet would begin on Saturday, the 23rd of April. The first was the mainnet shadow fork on the 11th of April. It's a significant step forward as Ethereum developers draw closer to switching the mainnet's consensus methodology from proof of work to proof of stake. Here's the tweet for it right here from Wu Blockchain. It says Ethereum developer Lion Daplian tweeted that a second merge testnet will begin on Saturday. The first was the Shadow mainnet fork test on the 11th of April. For those of you who were here, you might remember we had news that Ethereum was getting ready to do their final testnet upgrade for the actual upgrade that would be coming sometime in June. I guess if you look at the timeline, it does make a little bit more sense. As far as there was also news floating around that after the first Shadow fork testnet, which basically had the testnet morph directly into proof of stake so that people or developers could directly test to see what the final network would look like. I'm not sure if this was true. I was not testing it myself, but apparently a couple of bugs were found. We're not sure what kind of bugs they were. And this is when we immediately got news. Oh, no, it's not June. It's definitely a couple of months after June. So I wonder what happened. I wonder what took place. I wonder what went wrong. Thousands of question marks floating in the air. But this was the only one that was actually talking about that they're going to retry again on the 23rd of April, which is this Saturday, to, I guess, try and fix whatever was wrong. I guess it could be seen as a silver lining that the second testnet merge test is going to be taking place so close after the first one, which I would assume means that they found the faults in the code and therefore they're already ready to kind of test it out again. But yeah, this was the only website talking about it. So yeah, hopefully they get that together, because I have a feeling that a large amount of their momentum has been pushed back. A lot of the wind in their sails is, kind of been knocked away, because you can't push this back forever. One of my other friends sent me a message, and it was basically like a told you so kind of gif, and I was like, yeah, I got it. Like I'm the one who's been telling everyone else that they've been taking forever. But I think sometimes if I get too optimistic, I don't know. Anyway, so that's the Ethereum merge testnet news. Apparently this weekend they're going to be testing it out again, and let's see if that one works and doesn't have any code errors. Moving on. In the most popular news story of the day, in what I believed was going to move the market up higher, or even why I believe Bitcoin only moved up by 1%. And this is the point where you go, oh my gosh, Bitcoin should be up by 15 to 20%. And then I go, I know. And then we both get annoyed collectively together. While U.S. retail investors continue to wait to eternity for a cryptocurrency exchange traded fund to be approved by the Securities and Exchange Commission, Australians will soon join Canadians in gaining direct access to Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. Australian asset manager firm ETF Securities and Switzerland-based ETF issuer 21 Shares announced today the launch of 2 ETFs to be launched on the 27th of April. The ETFs are, here's the long names, ETF's 21 Shares Bitcoin ETF and ETF's 21 Shares Ethereum ETF, terrible names, will track the price of Bitcoin and Ether respectively in Australian dollars and trade on the Chicago-based CBOE exchange. Stop, hold up, wait a minute. That's the part where I was like, oh, well, prices should definitely move up now. Did you get it? Did anyone else catch it? Well, if you didn't, here we go. Not only is there another physical Bitcoin ETF that's going to be launched, this isn't speculation, they've gotten approval for it, and it is definitely going to happen. That's point one. We've seen many other times before when these ETFs launch, they accumulate massive amounts of Bitcoin, and this time also Ethereum, within the first couple of days. Supply, demand. It continues. The other Canadian ETFs are also still buying all the time. The other part that really shook me to my core was the fact that this is going to be traded on the Chicago-based CBOE exchange. Why is that significant, you might ask? Because I am going to logically assume, hear me out on this one, this was regulatorily approved by regulators to be listed in America, in Chicago, which should mean that Americans are going to have access to this. I say this, I do not know, but I say this because we have gotten news before. If someone in Switzerland, if someone in Germany, if someone in Canada was launching a Bitcoin ETF, it usually was only available in the Canadian Stock Exchange or the European stock markets. That's why we had news before when the first Canadian one launched that Fidelity had simply walked across the border and said, hey, give me some of those sweet, sweet Bitcoin ETFs that I cannot have access to in America. I'm going to assume that if this is being listed on the Chicago-based CBOE exchange, does that not mean that people in America will have access to this? If that is the case, because I'm pretty certain that American investors, like literally living in America, can invest in foreign funds, i.e., they can invest in stuff in Canada or stuff in Europe. I think there's some loopholes and jumps you may have to go through, or you may have to sign some paperwork. I'm not sure how it works, but I know that it is definitely possible because Canadians can invest in American stocks, Europeans can invest in American stocks, Americans can invest in Chinese stocks, Chinese can invest in American stocks. You get the idea. If this is a physical Bitcoin ETF that's being listed on the Chicago exchange, does that not mean by default that Americans will now have direct access to a Bitcoin ETF? See, that was what I was talking about. That's why Bitcoin should be up by around 15 to 20%. Because I swear to goodness, if the market is just waiting for an American Bitcoin ETF when people already have access to these services and to these funds, I'm going to lose my mind. And I have a very strange feeling that it's going to be another Robinhood situation where everyone was losing their biscuits and kept on talking about, oh my gosh, Robinhood, please list Shiba Inu. And I was like, hey, look over there. Shiba Inu has been listed on Kraken. The masses went, oh no, woe is us. Please list it on Robinhood. And I was like, hey, look over there. Coinbase also just listed it. Oh, how terrible the world is. We still do not have Robinhood. Oh my gosh, did you guys see that Binance also listed Shiba Inu? And then Shiba Inu was finally listed on Robinhood and we went up at 22% that day? Why are people constantly waiting for something that they already have? You can't complain that you're hungry when the table is full of food. So, this is the most popular news story of the day. I'm going to logically assume, please tell me if I am incorrect, but I would assume that, as with everything else, this got regulatory approval from US regulators to be listed on a Chicago-based exchange. That probably would not have happened unless regulators gave it the thumbs up. Everything is constantly scrutinized by regulators. I'm going to assume that this is not being listed in Chicago so that people in Australia have access to it. I'm going to assume that this is not being listed in Chicago so that people in Canada have access to it, because they probably already would have. So, this is the most popular news story of the day. Bitcoin's price should be near $50,000 right now. I can feel it in my heart, and I cannot believe that we are not a lot higher in price, because I know for a fact that people are waiting for the US SEC to give them a thumbs up. The things that you want already exist. These physical Bitcoin ETFs from these funds that have been greenlit already exist in the world. Why are people constantly waiting for America to make a move when the rest of the world is already spinning? I do not understand it. And there are already estimates they could attract $1 billion worth of Bitcoin after the first week of launch. Yes, this is the most popular news story of the day. Gonna be trading on the CBOE. I'm not incorrect, right? This should mean there's a reason why this wasn't launched on the Swiss stock exchange, or the German stock exchange, or the French one, or in Singapore. There's a reason why this was listed on an American exchange. Everyone gets that, right? All right. I can feel myself getting annoyed. That's the most popular news story of the day. Let's see what ends up happening. It's Wednesday. I think by Friday, Bitcoin will have fell by around 6 or 7% in price. I'm just kind of feeling it in the air because it doesn't make any sense. So, right. I'm gonna click away now. All right. Let's move on. Also in the news, it says, as it's been spoken about before in previous analyses, the latest Bitcoin outflow from exchanges has been relentless over the last month, despite a lack of price appreciation. Doesn't make any sense, with March 2020 being the second highest outflow month in Bitcoin's history. April has followed up with similar outflow strength so far. In our view, they say, exchange balance outflows is one of the best metrics available for assessing current demand and accumulation sentiment. Over the last 30 days, nearly 80,000 Bitcoin, worth over $3 billion, has left exchanges, with the largest outflows coming from Coinbase. Just thought I'd share that news with you. We tend to get this news once a week or every 2 weeks. Depends on, I guess, the situation in the cryptocurrency market. Outflows from exchanges have continued, meaning people are buying from said websites and they are taking their coins off of these websites. We typically hear the most about Coinbase, where this is happening, but it's also happening on other cryptocurrency exchanges as well. And just so there's no confusion, as an ETF, I'm going to assume that they have already purchased tons of Bitcoin for themselves. They are betting on it, and therefore they have purchased some for their company, their whatever, for themselves. The other part being, when people start throwing money at that fund on the 27th of April, they're going to be accumulating even more Bitcoin to match the actual fund. So, yeah. I really wonder what the catalyst is going to be. I am shocked at this point. If there were 21 million homes only on the planet, and there were maybe around 1.8 million homes left for 8 billion people, home prices would have skyrocketed. If there were only 21 million pieces of gold, only 21 million coins, and there were only 10% left for the taking, gold would be at around $95,000 per coin at this point, at least. How is this mathematically possible? I really don't understand. It makes absolutely no sense to me, because the news a couple of years ago was, we realized that coins were being bought over the counter, basically meaning you could buy it through a cryptocurrency exchange, but it would not hit the actual cryptocurrency exchange's metrics. So simply, you wouldn't see a buy order for $170 million. It was simply someone behind the scenes was like, I need a private meeting. They spoke to someone. Coinbase's cold wallets that weren't on the exchange would simply transfer that money to the person. So we would see the movement of these coins and the accumulation of these coins, and we realized they weren't hitting the exchanges. But now we have a very strong metric all the time to see where these coins are going. So we know that they're being accumulated. We can see that they're going to wallets that have never sent coins out of them, ever. They've only been accumulating for the last 13 years heavily. Anyway, so yeah, that was also news. Bitcoin accumulation continues and the price goes up by 1%. I'm not crazy with the Chicago thing, right? I know I'm not crazy. There's a reason why it was listed on that exchange and nowhere else. It was to allow US investors and consumers and retail investors to have access to that Bitcoin fund. I'm not going crazy. I might be. Anyway, that's the Coinbase news. And let's move on. Also in the news, some very good Cardano optimistic news. The Cardano network now has over 900 projects building on it, according to the developer input output, which also shared a number of developments occurring on the cryptocurrency's blockchain. These included the launch of the ERC20 converter and the launch of Wing Riders. Is that a video game? I hope it is. According to a tweet, input-output shared with over 250,000 followers on the blog, microblogging? Oh, geez Louise. Twitter. The number of projects being built on Cardano goes up day by day. Here's the tweet for it right here. This is quite significant. And I also wonder why Cardano, I guess it's Bitcoin's gravitational pull, why a lot of the other coins aren't moving up. You might remember, this was a year and a half ago. It must have been more than a year. We had news from Charles Hoskinson when we were getting the last other major Cardano upgrade. And he was like, yeah, we currently only have 3 projects built on the platform, but we're going to have hundreds in the future. And I was like, oh, okay. Sure, Mr. Hoskinson, whatever you say, because Cardano's very well known for being, I'm going to use the word sluggish. They're kind of like Ethereum 2.0 without the Ethereum. They say they're going to do something. It never really ends up happening. They're going to have an upgrade, and it's going to happen in January, but then January magically morphs into April, and April becomes December 21st, and then it's just how they've kind of always been. So to have 9, even if it was just, I would say 250 projects, I would have been like, that's not too bad. Look at them over the course of a year and a half. But to have 900 things built on top of it, this also goes to show that the network is actually working. And I know that sounds ridiculous, me saying that out loud, but we've had before in the past a lot of other projects who've tried to have multiple coins on them, and that project stops working, and there's like a delay on that project. And I mean like an actual like blockchain stopped moving kind of delay, because Cardano was one of the coins early on that was lumped with IOTA. Oh gosh. And there were 2 other coins that developers looked through and they were like, this doesn't really work. Like they were literally looking at it like, no, the code is garbage. It doesn't actually function. So I assume with 900 projects built on top of them, at least 45 would have collapsed or stopped working if the blockchain wasn't working. So, good on them. Yeah. 900 is a significant number. I know Ethereum has like 250,000, but it's still something. So the other news, Cardano news that was floating around today, it says the Cardano network has added over 100,000 new wallets in roughly a month at the time of the launch of its ERC20 converter tool, giving it mainnet something. They can deal with Ethereum now. Why did I mess that up so bad? There we go. Why? It's the next sentence, which allows Ethereum tokens to be running. Why don't I read? Why do I never just read the next sentence? It was the literal next sentence. I was trying to find like a very simple way to be like, how does ERC20 work on Cardano? It allows Ethereum tokens to be run on the Cardano blockchain. Just read. As first reported by Finbold, Cardano blockchain insights shared on Google's Data Studio by the Cardano fan stake pool, that in mid-March there were around 3.1 million ADA wallets, and now there are 3.26 million. That's a pretty impressive line up there. Yeah, a lot of really good Cardano news. This is what I'm saying. This is why I'm also heavily perplexed day by day, because we're not really getting any bad coin news. I think the worst thing that we had was like, what was it, 5 or 6 months ago? Was it Solana that was 51% attacked? I don't remember. It was some coin. What else was there? The EOS team froze the wallets of the people who had control of the project, if that can be considered bad news. Can anyone name any other like bad news for coins that we've gotten over the last 9 months? It's very sparse, if any. So I don't know how this market is working. I don't know many other wallets that could have news, good news, every single day. Joe Biden signed a piece of paper. That was also bad news. Is that it? Anyway, that's the another bunch of Cardano good news floating around out there. Good for them. I'm personally very glad that they're, doing what they said they were going to do. Not every project does that. Alrighty, let's move on. And I guess to kind of finish things off, there was a lot of other random news out there. Some of the other random news, I give you this news every 2 or 3 weeks. This happens every third day. If you want to see more what Ethereum whales are accumulating news, spoiler, it's usually always just Shiba Inu. I'll show you the next 5 times this appears so you know that I'm not simply just making it up. It says top Ethereum whales now hold almost $1.5 billion worth of SHIB. This is always in the news. When the Bitcoin whale wallet accumulation person news is in the news, the other flip side is that the largest Ethereum wallets, we can tell what other coins they have because it's usually the same exact address. For some reason, they're buying up tons of Shiba Inu. And the speculation basically is maybe they're insiders, maybe they know something that other people do not. Are they aware of a coin burn that's going to happen or some type of massive accumulation? The idea being not many people who have, $840 million worth of Ethereum in a wallet would spend their time buying a coin that they don't, the word isn't even believe in at that point. It's more of a, I know what this coin is going to do. The richest of the rich don't throw their money around in slight hopes or expectations that something might work for them, especially in the cryptocurrency market. The idea is they're normally hat tipped off that some type of movement for a coin is going to happen. But for the last 5 months, the Shiba Inu accumulation has been wild. It's been really ridiculous. How much it's picked up, and it's constant all the time that so many people are buying this coin with an expectation of making money down the line. So that was one of the top news stories. And the other news story that I simply don't get. If you can explain this to me, please do. It says the state government in New York is planning to require companies with the BIT license to mandatorily pay assessment fees for marking their compliance with the regulators, i.e., not only do you have to wait years to receive a BIT license, which allows you then to be able to do cryptocurrency activities within the state, but now when you have to record your compliance or tell them about your compliance, you have to pay fees to them to do so? I don't understand. I have a couple of friends out there who don't listen to this crypto news. Maybe one. Hello, sir, guy, person. What exactly is the allure of New York, if someone could tell me? As far as I know from people who live there, it's dirty, it's dangerous, it's dirty, it's expensive, it's dirty. The taxes are very high. I had assumed for years that New York had lower taxes, and I can't be the only one, as New York is this kind of very rich metropolitan area. I had assumed that you went there because you had 15% taxes, maybe even like 5% taxes, because why would the wealthy be going there otherwise? But apparently, state and federal taxes equal like over 50% in New York. So the taxes are high. You don't get any cryptocurrencies that are listed. Like, every single time that a cryptocurrency gets launched on some platform, it's always Hawaii and New York that don't get it. I can see living in Hawaii, like it just beaches and sun all the time. And, that sounds kind of nice. So it's expensive. Taxes are high. It's dirty. It's dangerous. The cryptocurrency market is terrible there. You can't use crypto to pay for anything. What exactly is the allure of New York? What makes regulators think that they can make people who have this license pay extra fees? And I'm sure there are also taxes on those fees because there's taxes on everything. And that people would still stay there. I don't really get it per se. So, that was also in the news today. If you can explain to me why people would do that, I would be greatly appreciative. I think that's going to do it for this video. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, a great morning. a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, and or supporting, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.